So what is your current job title, position, and how long have you been in this role?
Okay, I am a board certified behavior analyst. I am currently the owner of my own applied behavior analysis clinic. So we provide therapy to children with special needs between the ages of 2 and 16. I've been in this role for 15 years and in my own practice for 6 years.
Okay. How did you land this position?
Well, I worked in other agencies until I kind of reached the top of where I could. I was a clinical director for another agency, and the next logical step was to open up my own. So that's kind of how I decided to open up my own practice.
What was it like opening up your own practice?
It was difficult initially. You have to put a lot of time and energy, and it's essentially you're responsible for everything. So you're responsible for the clients that you work with, you're responsible for the staff. So it's definitely a lot of effort on your part, and you're involved in every single aspect of it initially. Because I was a one-man band when I first opened, so there weren't a lot of other people to help.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about your job?
I like working with the kids. That is my favorite part of it.
Okay. Do you work in a team or independent? Which I would say, I guess describe your whole, how you grew your team.
Okay, so initially I was just an individual solo practitioner. I did most of the therapy remotely. So I did mobile therapy, not in a clinic. I would go to children's homes, their schools, churches, community, wherever they engage in behavior problems. It got to the point where we were getting so many referrals, and I could no longer meet the needs of all the clients that we were referring, were being referred by myself. So I initially hired a couple of therapists to work under me, remotely, mobilely, and then it got to the point again we were getting so many referrals, and there was a big need for the service, and it was a lot more effective to be in one location. We were traveling out. I was really only working face-to-face 5 hours, and the rest of it was travel time. So it made more sense to have one local, center, and then have our therapist here, and then the kids come to us.
And when you say you give them therapy, what do you mean by what do you mean therapy?
So I'm a behavior therapist. We work with children that have developmental delays and special needs. Most of the kids have communication delays as well, so we work on increasing their appropriate behaviors and decreasing some of their inappropriate behaviors. So we teach them ways to replace the inappropriate things that they engage in.
Okay. How does this... So what challenges do you face as you're growing your team, as you can say?
Okay, so because every child works one-on-one with a therapist all day, the biggest challenge is scheduling. Making sure that for every child that's available that day, there's an available therapist, and vice versa. Making sure that every therapist that's available that day has a child to work with. And as we're getting larger, it seems that it's either you have too many therapists and not enough kids, or you have too many kids and not enough therapists. It's just always a balancing act, and that seems to be the most difficult part. Especially when somebody calls out, it's not like another job where you can just cover the shift. You have a certain amount of therapists that are working those days, and we don't have people that are just waiting to come in. So when kids call out, oftentimes it leaves a therapist without a child to work with, or if a therapist calls out, sometimes it leaves a child without a therapist.
So do these children go to school, or is this their only...
Some of them are school aged and do go to school primarily, but most of them are not school aged, so they come here full time. So in replacement of school for the pre-K age. We do have a couple kids that do a combo where they go to public school 2 days a week, and then they come to us 3 days a week. And because we also do some social skills, so we're open from 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon. So it just depends on their availability and their schedule. We do have some part-timers, but most of our younger children that are preschool or younger are here full-time.
Okay. What do you like least about your job?
Probably the scheduling part.
The scheduling? It's just really difficult.
It is. I mean, I write a schedule for the whole... I used to do it for the whole month. Then I would do it for the whole week, and every day you have...
So then how do you decide, how's the scheduling go now? Is it... So
we're broken up into 4 therapy rooms, and each therapy room has 5 to 6 therapists and 5 to 6 children assigned to those rooms. We usually have master's level therapists, myself and the 2 other therapists. We put ourselves in as fill-ins in case There's someone calls out,
Okay.
or for supervision, because all the other non-master's level therapists require supervision, and we have to make sure that they're following the program and the protocol. So it's easier to schedule that way because if somebody calls out from that team, you know where to plug somebody in.
Yeah.
In the past, it was just one unit, and all of us worked with all the kids. This is also better for making sure that there's continuity of care and fidelity with the treatment, because it's the same group of people working with the same kids.
Oh, okay, so like every day those kids work with the same therapist? Yeah.
Not the same one, but the same group of therapists. So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
so they're rotating in that same room. They're not
Yeah.
rotating
Okay.
across the whole center.
Alright, that makes sense. What was your major in college?
I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I have a master's degree in applied behavior analysis.
Okay.